Morning, it's 5:30 in the morning and we're going to see a special person. I'm absolutely knackered. Well, I got I think nearly a 4-hour drive, so I won't bore you with a 4-hour drive, but I'll see you when we get there. We've arrived at our destination. If I can find the keys, we've arrived. So I'm dying for a wee. Oh my god! How's it going? Somehow with that now. Stupid cat. Oh. Oh. Here we are.
I'll take her out.
That's all right. Gary boy, how's it going?
It's going all right, apart from that bloody dog. It drives me absolutely insane.
We've come up to see Gary. Like we said we was. I know lockdown and all that. It's been what, year and a half too long, innit, Gar?
I never thought it was going to end, to be honest.
Oh, I know, innit?
Ridiculous, you know, but well, as of the 12th, we're all right for a bit. Spray a bit of water here. Yeah, I've got terrific thirst, mate. So I'll just keep having loads of drinks of water.
Oh, you've got to have the water. Yeah, so I made the trip. What was it, nearly 4 hours? I've come up here.
Well.
It's not bad, is it? I mean, I was lucky because on the other side of the motorway, the traffic was horrendous.
Was it?
Oh.
Well, you know, it's swings and roundabouts. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not.
Yeah, that's right.
Who knows? Who knows?
So I'm here. I want to see the goods. You're going to show us the goods.
Well,
Run through a couple of original photos that we got.
well, we've got. It's where do you start? That's the thing.
I know, isn't it?
We can probably start about 20 minutes after we picked it up. When we drove from the hotel to where Peter Jackson lived. Now,
Just remind everybody who Peter Jackson actually
Peter
is.
Jackson was a partner at Venom Cars. He was then a partner at Prover Designs. He was then a partner at, what was it called?
DC?
I can't remember the other.
Sienna? DC?
Sienna.
Sienna.
It was Sienna Cars. Peter went where anybody would have him. So that was Peter's.
Oh, that says a lot for me, doesn't it?
Well, that's Peter Jackson. He wanted the most money for the least amount of work.
Yeah. Now, Peter Jackson, his son was famous, wasn't he? Is that right, Peter?
His son is Warren Jackson, who used to be in Coronation Street as a boy.
Yeah. Small world, eh?
Well, there you go. I mean, I've actually got pictures of us all on holiday.
Yeah, I'll put them in. I'll put them in.
Tenerife. So yeah, I mean, he was a jack of all trades, master of none.
Oh.
But his dad had an engineering company.
All right.
So we used him because we could get things made, like the original.
Oh, the vents and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the vents he made, the clusters around the rear lights, his company made.
So that stuff that you obviously got his father to make did he take that through to Prover and all that, and that's where they all got that stuff?
Everybody got it. Everybody.
Everybody.
Everyone got it because we were supplying door hinges with body kits.
Right.
So they all ended up having something made. We made a modification to ours. We put a grease nipple in it. So what we did, we put a spiral on the pin that went through the door itself, and we put a grease nipple on it.
No, that's a good idea.
So that the idea was,
when you put the grease in it, it followed the spiral through.
The spiral round.
Yeah, nice.
So
yeah, it's a really good.
So that's what we did, and it was all right to work with, but I never trusted him. I was right to never trust him. So this picture is we've just arrived at Peter's house, which was about 5 minutes away from the hotel, we picked the Countach up.
Mm.
And Peter was on holiday at that time. He was in Tenerife.
Yeah.
And that's his silver Jag.
Right. So obviously Peter Jackson hasn't got a clue what's going on.
He didn't know. No. I mean, you'll hear more as we go right further back.
Yeah.
He did have his uses. Don't get me wrong. He did have his uses, but he had no clue what we were doing. We were still messing about with bits of metal and filler when he went away. And then Darryl, and then of course, that's a picture of the car parked outside with Darryl.
Yeah, and we can't get hold of him, can we? If we don't
It's
know.
a shame.
It is a shame.
I think he's had a big do with his family.
Mm.
Probably left his wife. Has nothing to do with him. And that's the way it is, you know.
It goes like that sometimes.
I just can't find him. I tried. I want to try. I want to find him.
Yeah.
But I'm really struggling.
I've tried as well, and I've looked everywhere, and it's just disappeared. So
I mean, to be
it's
honest,
a shame.
He could be dead.
It could well be.
He could well be dead for all we know. So the next pictures I'm going to show you is of the Saturday afternoon when we actually stripped all the car, or pictures of us stripping the car down. I'll save that for a second. I'll just try to get them in some order. There's us. Whoops. There's us working on the car.
Look at that. Brand new car, sticking it all apart.
I'm afraid that's what we did. These are just a few of us working on it at different stages.
Have you, obviously, you didn't know much about those guys helping you, did you?
No, that guy there came from Darryl's plantainer business.
All right.
And I'll show the other one as I get to it. This guy here had a unit in the same workshops,
Yeah.
in the same mill
All right.
as us, and he offered his assistance for the day.
Yeah, tidy.
So he was a mechanic on his own, but in the mill.
I suppose he just wanted to be part of what was going on, like, you know.
And that chap there in the blue striped shirt is my mate, Bob Skier. He's our electrician.
Have you spoke to him?
Yeah, I spoke to him a couple of months ago.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so Bob Skier, our electrician.
It's nice to see that you actually did keep in contact with some of those guys from back
as I
then.
say, Darryl brought the two from his place. So I didn't know them until they arrived that Saturday morning.
Yeah.
They were just two people that worked for Darryl in his plantainer business. Again, more of it being stripped down. You can probably see with tapes around the headlights.
Black tape around the wire.
That's just to stop the gel coat running in. What else have we got? There's another.
Brand new car in bits.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Well, I mean, if you hadn't have done it,
You wouldn't be here.
no, we wouldn't be here talking, and many of you out there in the world wouldn't have your cars. So it's all down to Gary and...
So these two here
Yeah.
are the lads that work for Darryl.
All right.
Him
Yeah.
and him. That's me in the middle. Slim Jim. So that's that. And then we get that.
Taking it all apart.
That's virtually everything we could take off the
Oh,
car.
and you're taking the vents out as well.
Yeah.
Jesus,
That's about all we could get out of it. Strip off it.
it's not much really, is it?
Not really. Well, I mean, there's the engine cover, the boot lid, both doors, both radiator covers, the covers for the rear wing, bonnet, and the
What is that? Top bar. That goes across the... Oh, it goes across the engine cover. Yeah.
that's the top bar. That's how Lamborghini did it. They just drilled through there
All right.
and through there, and that was the spreader bar.
I might have to remake mine yet. I don't know. I've been contemplating about making it out of aluminium.
Yeah.
And now I know how that bit goes together. It's
This was fiberglass, and with a piece of whatever size timber they could get through it.
never.
Yeah.
So it's basically a bit of timber covered in fiberglass.
Basically, yeah.
That's not bad. They charge you like £500,000 for one of them.
That's it, half done.
And that's the white stuff's the gel coat going
White
on.
stuff is the gel coat. As you can see there, we had to leave the door locks in.
Yeah.
Couldn't get 'em out.
Yeah. You'd have to take the inner panels. Did you take any measurements at all, or
No, not off this car, no.
not even off the vents or nothing?
No.
So it was just all by iron after that.
Well, we had the holes that the fitted did, and we knew how they looked,
Yeah.
so we weren't too far.
You know the
off.
rear vents. How did they actually
Which vents?
the exit vents on the back?
Exit vents on the back.
You know, by the wing.
Oh, yeah.
These ones, those vents.
Yeah, we knew exactly what they were, and we just made them. They were slightly more curves than you think they are.
Yeah, they are. They're twisted as well.
And they're also twisted.
Yeah.
But Pete Jackson's dad's engineering company,
You sorted that out.
he did it.
Yeah, tidy. It's all good stuff.
So yeah, that's another one of the bits. You can see the gas strut we left on it. That's that. And where we're getting into now.
And that chassis you can see there in the corner, right in the corner there,
Is an old Kingfisher mouldings chassis,
all right.
which doesn't work.
It didn't work, did it?
Didn't work because it was a Jaguar IRS back end,
Ah, right.
and they tried putting it in. If you tried putting
too
the
short.
Well, it wasn't that. It was
Too narrow, like.
the drive shafts on a Jaguar. The actual unit is held solid in the frame,
All right.
and the there's no top wishbone on a Jaguar. There's just the lower wishbone and the two drive shafts.
Right.
So when you bolt the drive shafts onto the diff, it's really rigid, but it still goes up and down. What Kingfisher did was they tried to mate it to a transaxle, which was only loosely mounted on rubbers. So every time it turned one corner, it pushed it over that way. And every time it turned the other corner, it pushed it over that way. They couldn't get the gearbox stiff enough.
Right.
Because the gearbox was on a Jaguar, it's actually holding the car up. The Jaguar diff does not move.
Yeah.
Because it's bolted in a cage, and that's the only way you can have the wishbones.
Yeah. So the gearbox is part of the chassis, basically. Like.
Yeah. That's the way the Jaguar mount them. Well, when you're trying to do that with a mid-mounted engine, and you can't do it.
It's not gonna happen, no.
So that was why that got kiboshed.
And then is that after you had that chassis, and then you went and got you got one made then, didn't you?
I had the Noble one made.
Didn't you have one before that?
I did, but it wasn't that much different from that.
Ah, right.
And then I was working with Lee Noble at the time when he brought out his first Ultima, and I just knew that the chassis would be good for it.
Yeah.
So with that, I got a chassis off Lee. But the problem with Lee's chassis It only had one rear shock absorber,
Yeah, that's right.
and because of the size of our rear wheels and the unsprung weight, it needed 2 shock absorbers. So I had to slightly modify the rear suspension
Yeah.
and the hub that everything runs to, making it into a twin instead of a single.
Ah, right. Yeah.
So that's what we did to the...
And that's why so they obviously went, because you were Venom and then you went to Mirage. Did Mirage go to Prova, the Prova bit, or they were just like, they were running parallel at the time?
Prova Paul went to see Lee,
Yeah.
and they agreed on a price, but after a while it became too much. So Lee and Paul had a falling out. By this time, Lee
Noble.
Yeah, sorry. But by this time, Paul Lawrenson, by the time this fell out with Lee, he already had a chassis and he just had it copied.
Ah, right.
So some of the earlier ones have got a single spring on them.
Yeah, the earlier Prova's a single, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they got the square box section, A-arms, isn't they?
Whereas ours had twin,
Yeah.
because it just held the wheel sturdier.
And you changed, and you had circular A-arms instead of square box.
Different, yeah.
Yeah.
They were slightly different.
It's a lot nicer setup, I think. Anyway.
It worked. It was still based on the geometry set by Lee Noble.
Yeah.
Or actually, Lee Noble didn't make it. A guy he knew made the chassis, but he had exclusive rights to it.
Ah, right. See.
So when Paul and Lee fell out, Paul started making his own chassis. We were making our own chassis. So when I moved to Mirage, I just took our chassis design with us. And that's why a lot of the later Mirage chassis
Yeah.
are the same as the Venom. What happened when it turned to the Mark II, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, saying that, the original chassis that you had built from Lee Noble, people are still copying that today.
Still, yeah, they are doing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean,
Well, it must have been such a good design for people to still copy it today.
well, it meant you could use the Renault 30 drive shafts,
Yeah.
because the aluminium hub
Yeah,
was made to take a Renault 30
that's right.
front wheel bearing.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Right. So that meant that you could use the full gearbox drive shafts with the new hubs. The other thing that Lee
Well,
had-
without any modifications.
no, there's no modifications.
Never.
No.
Well, that worked out perfect, didn't it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was made by Lee to use standard Renault 30 gearbox.
Right.
Whether it be the TS, which was the 4-speed, or the TX, which was the
TX.
which was the 5-speed.
Yeah. I wonder how you guys did that with the different drive shafts and stuff.
Well,
like that.
it wasn't
it weren't-
quite as easy as that.
No, but it weren't quite like we're talking back in the 80s now, where it was mainly, if you wanted parts, you went to a scrapyard, not like you went on the internet and you found out someone up the country made something. Is you either got the Yellow Pages out back then,
Yeah.
something like that. So it was a lot harder back in the 80s to actually make a car not like it is today, because you got so much what's it called, variety and options by
There
different
wasn't
people.
a lot. You found whatever fitted and whatever worked.
Yeah.
And you went with it.
Yeah.
You know, the original Lee Noble was called Kit Deal.
All right.
The original Kit Deal chassis for his Ultima Mark 1. It had Renault 30 drive shafts. It had the hub we've just talked about.
Yeah.
And then what you used to do then is you used to get a Lancia rear disc
That's right.
and brake
Carpers.
And they drilled them for 4 stud, which was okay for the Ultima wheel
Yeah.
because it was a lot smaller than the Countach.